Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It is the big preview for arguably the biggest card of the year, and that is UFC 280 in Abu Dhabi. We'll be getting the new undisputed UFC lightweight champion, Charles Oliveira or Islam Makhachev. And obviously, to chop this down, I've got my good old friend Callum. Callum, how are we doing?
We're good, Luke.
We're good.
We're good. Liverpool's winning.
Liverpool have just beaten Manchester City,
Yeah,
so
have indeed. We're cooking. We're eating well. Plus,
we're
as you
eating
said,
real good.
card of the year, bro. Card
Potential
of the year. Do you know what? I think it becomes card of the year.
Becomes card of the year. But let's start at the main event, arguably one of the most anticipated bouts of the year. Got Islam Makhachev, the Khabib protege, basically in his own backyard because Abu Dhabi is going to be a home advantage.
Yeah.
Versus Charles Oliveira. Many of the media have sort of disrespected him, going easy dub for Islam. But you've seen a lot of other UFC fighters that have fought him and going, Charles is winning that all day long. So how do we think we see this going? Because for me, this has big implications of the Brazil card, in my opinion. That's headlining in January.
I think this has massive implications on the 55 division. Charles wins this fight, he's effectively cleared out, and he's going to have to wait for someone else to become a contender. If Islam wins, you've got so many potential matchups. Like, he's not fought anyone really in the top 5 or top 10 even. So there's loads of fights there for Islam. For Charles, not so much. So you've almost got a situation like it is with Izzy. Izzy wins against Pereira. You're looking at it and saying, who's next for Izzy? Charles wins against Makhachev. You're looking at it saying, who's next for Charles?
Yeah, because the rematches aren't like, you're not going to be selling me on a Gaethje rematch.
No, not because of how easy he made it. All right, do you know what? That's disingenuous. He didn't make it look easy. But once he got in his groove, that was it. Chandler, I think you've got more of a chance of selling the Chandler rematch. Chandler was close to finishing him. Poirier wasn't close to finishing him, in my opinion. But
Gaethje wasn't.
No, but where Makhachev is different, Makhachev's wrestling couldn't negate the jiu-jitsu game of Oliveira. The only problem is, can Makhachev get Oliveira down without taking damage? That is the real question.
But this is the thing, right? The thing is with this main event, it's like everyone knows, people want it to be like Islam, like you hear DC Khabib for someone that's retired talking like that he's fighting in the main event.
I know, it's wild.
Which is absolutely wild, because if you talk up your boy and your boy chokes in Abu Dhabi,
a lot comes back to Khabib.
A lot comes back to Khabib, and for a guy that says I'm done, I don't believe he's done, because if he gets finished in Abu Dhabi, Charles has already said I'm calling him out to his face, and I think DC was like, there's no point because he's done. I don't think he is done, because he's basically stepped aside. Obviously,
he's not acting like it. He's not acting like he's done at the moment.
But he's talking a hell of a lot of shit for someone that's meant to be, chilling, coaching. But for me, he's itching to get back in my opinion. But I reckon that he's waiting for a worthy opponent. Like, I believe he's always been waiting for that worthy opponent. It would have been GSP, but GSP probably went, nah, not for me. Not cutting down to 55. And Khabib probably went, not going up to 70. And that super fight was pretty much ended. But this one, if Charles wins, would you say this is arguably the biggest win of his UFC career? Because name-wise, it's not. Name-wise, it's not. Resume of Islam, it is not. You're talking about the hype that he's been given, potentially.
I still think Poirier today is his biggest win. Poirier had been in there with McGregor, been in there with Khabib. Poirier was seen as the heir to the throne once Khabib retired.
Or the uncrowned champ. That's what people called him.
Yeah, they did. And he went out there and he stopped him. And he stopped him emphatically. We're saying this before the event happens. If he goes out there and I don't know, throws up a flying triangle or something like that, then we're sitting there going, Charles has just done a madness. But name-wise, fighter credentials, for me, Poirier is the guy so far on his resume. I think you build in the hype and the storyline around Makhachev. I think it makes for good viewing.
It's like he's not got the resume to back up all of this talk.
He hasn't got a good resume at all.
I can understand from his perspective, like he's been like, people have been ducking me. And I'd be like, yeah, I can see that. But when you've had the opportunity to fight RDA on short notice, you didn't take it.
He didn't.
He didn't take it. Like, people have offered to fight him, and he's gone, nah. Do you talk about Dana privilege? We talk about Khabib privilege.
Yeah.
Because he's basically got a title shot off of beating Bobby Green.
Well, it's exactly my point. I was just going to say that. And look, I love Bobby Green. Bobby Green is one of my favorite fighters. But Bobby Green took the fight at short notice. Everyone seems to forget. Dan Hooker took the fight short notice. Bobby Green took the fight short notice. Neither of them were prepared for him. Oliveira's had a full camp.
He's had a full camp. He's already in Abu Dhabi. I think he's been there for at least the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I believe so. Which is smart.
He's been walking around with a lion.
Yeah.
Casually chained that. I'm thinking, geez.
That's what champs do.
Like, the key's the victory for either man. I think for Islam, if he can, the wrestling's the big game. Because for me, like, people say like he's a deep, like a good striker. For me, I think he's an average striker.
Yeah,
I think he's very average. He uses his striking to open the wrestling.
Yeah,
and for me, it's if Charles's gas tank holds out and doesn't try to submit him in the first round or two, and it goes into deep waters, I think there is a way that he gets the result. But for Charles, do not go to the judges' scorecards.
Yeah,
you ain't winning.
Unless it's clear.
Winning.
Unless it's
even clear. Then, we've seen, like, we've done watch-ons of fights that we think clear, and they've just gone, what?
Yeah, we've been there. I hope it's not deciding a controversial decision. I really hope.
I really hope not. I really hope not. But obviously, there is a little factor, because I don't know whether or not that you've heard the backup fighter, Alexander Volkanovski.
The Volk. Bold Volk.
The Volk.
I like it.
Like that is talking about going for greatness. Like, he's potentially might be taking it on short notice. And for me, if he wins that lightweight belt, it's more impressive than when Conor did it.
Yeah.
For me. But I don't expect either man to get injured. So I don't expect to see Volk there, but I do expect to see Volk fight in Perth in February. So but it is very interesting, because I think Volkanovski said that Charles was his opponent that he would want to face. Which, again, more disrespect. Like, I don't like it when fighters just go, Charles is a quitter still. He ain't no quitter. He's a different beast. That blonde hair Charles is different.
Yeah. He's a beast now. Everyone seems to forget he grew up in the cage in front of everyone. Not many other people have had to do that.
Unless, I think Max Holloway's done
Max is the only one.
But if you think about it, this is, for me, if Charles wins this, he's main event in Brazil for me.
He has to.
Because there is a gap at the top of the card, especially with news that Yuri Glover 2 is going to be happening at 282, which I think is harsh on Glover. So harsh on Glover. Yeah. You could have given him his Brazil send-off before he rides off into the sunset, but there is a gap. If my prediction comes right, we're getting Charles and Khabib headlining Brazil.
I can't see Khabib going to Brazil.
Well, let's be honest. There was rumors saying that the plan was to get Charles and Islam in Brazil, but Islam was like, no, I'm not going to Brazil.
And which in itself is crazy, because Islam's a challenger.
It's like, you're the challenger, and you're saying that you ain't going to Brazil. I'm thinking,
it's crazy. You shouldn't have. Based on that, you kind of should have just turned around and be like, "Well, we're not going to give you the fight. Then you go fight someone else."
Yeah, but
it feels very shady what's happened with the whole Islam thing. Even his ranking and everything, it feels very shady.
Yeah, for me, to get the push from fighting no one.
Yeah,
and you being Khabib's training partner is it doesn't sit
something
well
seems
with
off.
me. But predictions, Callum. Predictions. How are we seeing?
I'm not going to say and new. I'm going to say and still, because Charles Oliveira is the champion going into this fight. He absolutely is, and he should still have that belt. I'm going Charles. I think Makhachev may pose some problems with the wrestling. I just think Charles is on a different level at the moment, in a different headspace. Physically, he's a beast at the moment. I think the striking.
Even
I
quote
predicted the third round.
He beat Gaethje was like, "You can hit me, but I'm still coming. Like I'm the champ. Where's my belt?" I'm thinking
Remember,
that's the
Gaethje said that he's never been hit that hard before in his life,
and he's fought Khabib,
and he spars with Usman, who's a massive welterweight.
No, it's crazy for me. I'm going and still, but I'm going TKO. I think he's not going to get the submission. I think we're going to keep it on the standing, and we're going to go and still TKO third round. I think
I've gone third round as well.
We're going to go third round. Next one, co-main event. Aljamain Sterling coming back after successfully defending his UFC Bantamweight title against former champion TJ Dillashaw. Feels a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've said this over on my channel. I wouldn't have been opposed to seeing a lifetime ban. I think that's the only way you kind of deter it.
For me, like for me, like I know people say, "Oh, why should you do like lifetime bans?" People have done it in other sports, but when you've done it in other sports, it's not physical. Like Lance Armstrong was cycling; it's not hurting anyone. He's cheating himself. When you're in the ring or in the octagon, you could end someone's life. That's why, like the Conor Ben stuff, Conor Ben should be banned. For a very long time. Because he's going in to the ring knowing that he has an advantage.
Or he's giving himself an advantage.
Giving himself an advantage. And for me, it's the same as for TJ. He shouldn't be in this position. I find it really uncomfortable that he's even in this position. For me, didn't he even win his last fight?
I had Sandhagen win that.
And I had Sandhagen win that 3-2. I think it was close, but I thought Sandhagen just did enough. But Aljamain Sterling, he's the hero. He's the hero. After being the villain, he's now the hero, and it's a massive opportunity for him.
It is. I think he could use this and really boost his star power if he were to get a win. Really boost, and he needs to boost his star power.
Yeah, because people are like, okay, so he beat Petr Yan. Yeah, great, but we know that TJ's around the corner, so he's probably thinking, if I beat TJ, then he's basically the king of the mountain, basically.
Yeah.
Unless there's a certain triple C.
Well, here's the thing. Again, Aljo wins this fight, and it changes the narrative for him because it would mean he'd have beaten Corey, who's fourth, Petr Yan, who's first, and TJ, who's ranked second. He's not going to fight Davishvili because he's ranked third. So then you're looking at Marlon Vera, who's fifth. Really and truly, if Sterling goes out and beats Dillashaw, a lot of people are going to have to eat humble pie because he would have beaten 1, 2, and 4 in the division. That is nothing to score. That's major.
Yeah, unless a certain other person pulls out the stops underneath and makes himself a challenger, but we'll touch on that in a bit.
We will do.
But for me, I do feel like that there is another person circling around that we were talking about beforehand, a certain cringe, the king of cringe, because he's back in the testing pool. He's going to be ready to fight. Like I think his 6 months are close to being up.
Will he come back to 35? Will he go to 45?
He says he wants to come back to 35 because Dane has pretty much said you're not getting the 45-pound shot straight away. And I think Cejudo basically said that I'll drop down to 35, win the belt, and go up to 45 just to prove a point.
I like that. Actually.
And plus, we saw, Sterling and Cejudo tease it after Sterling won the belt. And people were a little bit pissed at him for saying you're teasing a fight with Cejudo when you didn't really beat Petr Yan. So
he's legitimately beat him now. So
Yeah, he's definitely beat him now. Keys the victory for either men.
So for me, Sterling's got to close that distance from early and use his wrestling and keep him grounded. TJ has got to use his footwork and he's got to use that in and out motion and he's got to land quick, devastating strikes. I don't think he wants to get in a wrestling match with Sterling.
No, because I think Sterling is definitely probably one of the better wrestlers at bantamweight. And I think
his jiu-jitsu game is very good as well. Training with
Ray
Longo and Sarah.
The Sanhagen Dillashaw fight, I thought the leg kicks are going to be crucial because TJ's knee was basically done.
It was done, yeah.
After that, and if he can get the legs kick going, like I don't know whether or not you saw the UFC Vegas. I think it was Jonathan Martinez.
Yeah, against Cub.
Against Cub.
Brutal.
Couldn't even stand up.
Brutal. Even the body kicks, brutal. Goodness me. I
shot down the legs, which means that there's not a much that TJ doesn't have that bounce then take him down. And then
that's a shout.
And then I think Sterling picks up the W and still
I've gone with an Aljo win as well. I've gone with an Aljo decision win though.
I'm gonna go Sterling win.
Yeah.
4th round submission.
I'll take it.
I would love nothing more than TJ to tap. Nothing more.
So I just want to see how he gets marketed if he wins the fight. Because if you're a UFC, how do you market someone who's just come back off a drugs grab?
Go, hey, Triple C, do you want that title shot straight away?
Yeah.
Yeah? Sound.
Yeah, cool. True, actually.
Yeah, just go Figueiredo. You want to jump up to... Oh, no, sorry. We'll go, hey, Mighty Mouse, you fancy coming back to the UFC fighting bantamweight? Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I miss Mighty Mouse in the UFC.
I know. Mighty Mouse is legit.
Yeah.
And speaking about legit, next fight, Petr Yan.
We're about to find out. Is he legit? Is the Sugar Show legit?
Is it legit? Is the Sugar Show? Because talk about cojones. Basically having a bit of a meaty fight against Pedro Munoz that with the eye poke to go, I'm not dealing with these guys. Let's fight the former champ himself.
All right.
Some balls.
He's got cojones, you're right. He absolutely has. But this is a risk-free fight for him.
Yeah. Because if he loses, everyone's going to go,
it's Yan.
Too early. It's too early.
Yeah. And it's Yan. He's beaten Jose Aldo. He's beaten Faber. He's beaten Sanhagen. The only person he's lost to is in the UFC is it's a champion.
But it's a massive win because if he beats Yan convincingly, you're going, that's the next guy. That's your next contender. Yeah. And for Petr Yan, it's a lose-lose.
Yeah.
It's a lose-lose. Because if you lose, you're like, you lost to this guy? And if he wins, everyone's going to go, well, we expected you to win because you're the former champ.
I have to rate Yan for taking this fight. I have to rate Yan for taking this fight.
Yeah, 100%. Because he could have gone, him? Nah, not for me. I'd rather fight Cheeto or someone like that. Which I thought that was the direction that they were going to go. Cheeto was going to fight Petr Yan. But for me, this is definitely Sean O'Malley's toughest test of his career because he's basically fighting a computer. Because the way Yan fights is very technical, very, very, very like he downloads the game plan. You saw that in the Sanhagen fight at Abu Dhabi. Sort of Sanhagen, the first couple of rounds was like, oh, hello, Yan's in trouble. And then from round 3 onwards, Yan just, downloaded everything. And I was like, okay. And then beating towards the end.
But doesn't that factor in? Doesn't that feed into why it could be a night for O'Malley, though? Because if you take 1 round to figure out someone and you lose that round, you've only got 2 rounds now that you have to win. There's no gray.
It's not a 5-rounder,
it's a 3-round fight. Whereas in a 5-round fight, you can download for 1 round. Anderson Silva used to do all the time. Download for the first round and then you figure out and then boom, it's done. Yeah. 3-round fight, you're going to have to get the stoppage or you're going to have to win the next 2 convincingly.
It's going to be so interesting how this plays out, right? Because the way Sean O'Malley started against the Munoz fight, it was quite, I wouldn't say sluggish. It was a bit of a slow start. It didn't really get into gear, but you can't really afford that against Petr Yan. He can't really take a round, to warm up and get in, because we know Jan's deadly. We know he's deadly with the leg kicks. And I think that's going to be crucial for Sean O'Malley. If he can check the leg kicks, because he's had problems before. The loss to Marlon Vera, brutal leg kick. I think he did his ankle or something like that. I think something went in his leg, then he just went, and that was him done. So for me, like that's O'Malley's biggest thing. He's got to watch for. He's got to watch for the leg kicks. And if he can check that, because he's definitely the bigger guy, he's got the bigger range. It's keeping him at range. And let's see how good his boxing skills are, because he claims he's one of the best boxers at bantamweight. Let's see how he uses that reach. How have we got this down, Cal?
I've got Yan. I've still got Yan. I think Yan's gonna have just too much experience, but I think O'Malley's stock will rise. I don't think Yan's gonna stop him, but I think Yan will get the victory. But I think O'Malley will come on the other side and people will start to respect him more. Yan's a problem. He's a massive problem for that division.
I'm just trying to think. I don't want to go the same issue, but that's such the logical thing.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if O'Malley does it. Whereas I won't be surprised if Yan beats him.
Screw it. Sugar show, baby.
You go for the sugar show.
Invest in your stocks now. Invest in them, because he's going to cash in big. No, I think he'll win by decision.
You do?
Yeah. One that wants to just be different to you, because it'd be pretty boring if all other predictions were the same. No, but let's see how motivated, because you never know. Petr Yan might be a bit like, really, like this side thing, because when fighters, when they lose a title shot, they usually the next fight afterwards is someone that's pretty much round the same ranking. But the fact is, he's gone from a guy that's pretty much outside the top 10, and he's fighting him.
Yeah, comfortably.
Like, oh, for F's sake, this guy really, sort of thing. So
it's interesting. It's very interesting.
Because that mentality, I know, like, he doesn't have that mentality. One, he's a Russian fighter, and two, he trains at Tiger Muay Thai.
Full of killers.
Killers.
Full of
killers on
site. On site.
Yeah, but I am going to go Sean O'Malley just about split it. I'm actually going to go split decision. Win. Next fight on the card. Potential number one contender.
Yeah.
Beneil Dariush versus Matthias Gamrot at lightweight. Massive fight for this, because for me, this probably determines the next number one contender at lightweight.
In theory.
Only if Charles wins this sides. If it's not, I mean, back down in the queue, baby.
You say that though, with Volk being a fill-in fighter, is Volk now number one contender? I think both of these guys may have one more fight after this to certify who is number one contender. And I think the name in that conversation could be Rafael Fiziev.
Oh,
it's 55 division. 55 division is hot.
Oh, for me, if Volk's the backup fighter, then he's not going to fight in Brazil. He'll probably fight in Perth, because I think they've pretty much said that Volk's fighting on the Perth card regardless. So if he is like the lightweight contender, then he's probably gonna have to fight in the summer. So I expect that he'll defend at featherweight first, and then he'll fight lightweight. Probably around International Fight Week will probably make sense. But for this will be the first time we have seen Dariush since he beat Tony. His wife's had a baby, called out Elon Musk, which is a bit odd. Wanted the Tesla, but no, not Elon sorted them out. And Gamrot, his last fight was a bit of a cagey one, not gonna lie, because I thought he lost.
Hell of a fight though. Hell of a fight,
but I thought he just lost.
I did as well.
But it's gonna be such an interesting fight, because Dariush, like his I think he trains with Vittori. I think he trains with Marvin Vettori.
Yes, I think yes, he does.
He's got
He's
excellent ground game. We saw that against Tony. Just picked him up,
almost ripped his knee off.
Just pretty much destroyed Tony Ferguson. And we were supposed to get Islam Dariush. That was the fight that I wanted to see. Could have given Islam a proper name, someone that he actually deserved to be in the octagon with, not a title shot.
Yeah.
But how do we find this one going?
I got Dariush. I think the pressure and the striking from Dariush, plus the experience as well. The only thing, all right, so experience is a good thing, but it also means you've been in there a lot.
You've got miles in the legs.
Yeah, Gamrot doesn't have those miles on the clock. But I think Dariush is still fresh enough to cause major issues in this division. And I think he gets the job done. I think I'm going to go for a decision. But I think Gamrot, again, is going to be someone whose stock rises from this fight. But I think Beneil Dariush will win by unanimous decision.
You know what? I'm going to have to agree with you. I think his experience, and plus, if Dariush can keep it on the ground, I do think it nullifies the striking of Gamrot.
Yeah.
Gamrot trains at ATT, so he's going to have lots of experience when it comes to wrestling. I think he was training with Dustin Poirier before.
Yeah.
280, so he's got plenty of experience there. Yet again, I think Gamrot's 31. You know, like he's not exactly. I thought he was in his mid-20s, but Dariush, a couple of years older. Dariush,
you can't think of any. He's not. You can't think of any wars he's been in. He's been in very good technical fights like his last one, but no wars as such. Whereas Dariush kind of goes to war every time he fights.
Yeah, that is true. And for that reason, I'm just going to go Dariush. The bit of a seasoned veteran, and I reckon he'll get the job done. Last fight on the main card, it is Caitlin Chukagian versus Manon Fiorot at flyweight. Interesting one, because I did not expect this to open the card, especially with the one that was headlined at the prelims, which we'll touch on afterwards. Massive opportunity for Manon Fiorot, because a win over Chukagian pretty much puts a number one contender after Shevchenko Santos 2, which is pretty much, I think Santos leaked that it's going to be in Brazil.
That would be major.
For me, Fiorot is fighting the decision queen.
Yeah, but also the gatekeeper. She's also she's like the boss before the final boss, isn't she?
Yes,
like,
yes.
If you get through Chukagian, then you can get a title shot. If you can't, then you're back where you were.
I think Chukagian's had like 4 finishes in her whole MMA career, 12 wins by decision.
She is a cardio queen.
She's a cardio machine, but she's not. Do you know when people say, "Oh, it's a master like good at everything, but not a master at anything"?
Yeah,
me, that reminds me of Chukagian.
Yeah,
great cardio, but I just don't really. There's nothing. You go, she's legit in that area. You don't want to go on the ground or.
She does everything well. She puts everything together
excellent.
Well. Yeah,
to be at flyweight with the champ Shevchenko, you've got to be near enough perfect.
Who is that? Exactly. All right. Here's another question. At 35, apart from Nunes, who else beats Valentina?
No one.
This is what we're up against with Valentina.
Ronda. No, jokes. Not Ronda. Ronda gets smoked. You're the bloodbath.
This is the problem you've got.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with the women's divisions in the UFC.
Apart from 115.
Apart from 115, where like everyone goes, "Oh, thanks for the belt." "Oh, no, thank you." And gives the belt right back. You look at the other divisions, it's like,
it's locked down, isn't it?
45 Nunes, 35 Nunes, unless she has an off night, and then it's Pena for one night, and then Nunes goes, "Okay, thanks for keeping the belt warm. I'll take that back
now."
Cool. And plus that bit in your forehead, I'd like that too, please.
Yeah.
And then Shevchenko is the queen at 25. So predictions for this one.
Chukagian by decision.
Yeah, it's the safest one. It is the safest one. Doesn't really get stopped.
She knows how to win.
She's not been. I think the last fight she lost was Jessica Andrade by stoppage.
Yeah, body shot, wicked body shot as well.
Wicked body shot. And then she's sort of like curled into a ball. Yeah, I am going to go Chukagian decision. And then we don't usually touch on the prelims, but however, the headliner of the prelims, Belal Muhammad versus Sean Brady. Now this
should be on the main card. This could main event a fight night.
100%. But this is well, like, when you're in Abu Dhabi, the sheikhs are going, how much, Dana? Like the sheikhs probably have like built the card, and Dana's probably gone, don't want to do that. Shut up, then. You get money.
Yeah, you're doing it.
They get money. We don't care what you say.
Yeah,
we're building the card. Your mind? You're just saying yes to it. But this is massive because I think Belal Muhammad says that he's going to have Khabib in his corner. So more reason why I want you to lose.
Sorry. Wow.
Yeah, he said he's been training with Khabib for me, because like apparently like Khabib's actually been like physically in there training with him, and I'm like, for a guy that's retired, mild,
he might be getting tuned up. He might be getting tuned up.
The sweet chin music type.
If little bro can't do it, big bro's got to step in sometimes. Apparently,
I'm going to smash you, brother. Yeah, probably, yeah. But for me, this is big because the welterweight division at the moment, especially now that Leon's a champ, there's a lot of opportunity here. Because after the trilogy, it's like if you have a good performance and you get the mic and you rock the mic, then you're like, okay, now he's the next guy. Because Sean Brady's still undefeated, 15-0.
Yeah,
superb wrestler. Like this is like, for anyone that doesn't like wrestling, this probably ain't going to be the fight for you, because this is going to be a grappling masterclass. But it's going to be very, very interesting because for me,
Belal's got decent striking as well. He showed against striking.
But for me, I think this is Sean Brady. I think he's just another guy, just another undefeated welterweight prospect. Got Ian Gary, got Shavkat. Shavkat, I can't say his last name. And then we've got, I can't say Hamzat, but he's...
he's still 70. He's still 70.
I think he's a middleweight now, but yeah,
I reckon
there's
lots of talent. Still 70.
So there's lots of talent here, and I think Sean Brady's that next guy to really break through. I think, where's Belal ranked? He must be ranked high.
So Belal,
I think he's ranked.
He's currently ranked.
4? Is he ranked 4?
5th. So you've got champion, headshot, dead, bang, Leon Edwards, Kamaru, Colby, Hamzat, Burns, and then Belal Muhammad.
Sean Brady underneath.
And he's ranked 8th behind Jeff Neal and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who will be fighting
Kevin Holland.
Kevin Holland.
I called that fight as well. I bloody
Holland could be moved up into the top 7 with a win.
I remember that I told you Kevin Holland versus Wonderboy makes sense.
You predict these things, Luke.
You predict these things. It comes to fights. You know, I just know.
You just know.
Just know these things. Predictions for the fight. I've got Sean Brady unanimous decision.
I've got Belal Muhammad unanimous decision. I think he's striking. I think they both obviously can wrestle really well. I think Belal's striking will be ahead of Sean's. And I think because they're both very good wrestlers, I think they'll keep the fight standing. I think Belal will get the better of him on the feet.
So you're going Belal by TKO?
No, you do.
Ambitious, or we're going to see?
I think we're going to see quite a lot of decisions on this card. I think it'll be a very good card, but I think we'll see a lot of decisions.
Yeah, this is where, like, when we've done UFC cards before, we've spoken during the week and we've gone, oh, this card's going to cook. And then we watch the cards and we've gone, oh, this card, man.
Yeah.
And then the cards for that we go, oh, I fancy skipping this week. And then we watch the card and we go, fight of the year, baby.
Yeah.
Finish
after finish. We're like, we're off in a couple of hours. Wow, crazy. Crazy, huh?
This is the fear. Like, when there's so much talent, like the prospect of the card not living up to expectations is big.
Yeah.
It's big. Because when you spend that much money, like going to Abu Dhabi with these fights, got to deliver.
Yeah.
Nothing else will do. So yeah, it's the big one. It's the big one.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm so looking forward to it. It's actually going to be on at a decent time.
7 p.m. UK time,
7
baby.
p.m. Cal, shall we tell the people what we're planning?
No. I think they've got to follow us on social media. They've got to get this up to
on the socials, because
I think this has got to be on at least 50 likes before we reveal that news.
50 likes. 50 likes, and then we'll let people know what we're going to do. It's going to be big. A big card means a big watch along. And so everyone that's watching this, make sure that you go over and subscribe to the Sanderson Show as well. Let's try and get Callum to 1,000 subs. Callum, tell the people what you've got coming up, because you've got something big coming up.
Yes, I have managed to sit down and interview Aaron Bronstetter from TSN, which is the largest sports network in Canada. He's an MMA reporter and interviews a lot of the champions, ex-champions and fighters. So it was an absolute pleasure speaking to him. So a massive shout out to him. So that interview, depending on when you're watching this one, will come out after this preview. Also got another preview on my channel as well. And then we got the watch along on Saturday, Luke.
Yeah,
let's go.
It's going to be a decent time. I'm working during the day first, but it's not. I'm working in the morning.
Not bad, not bad.
So I get to get home in time, gonna chill, oh yes, it's gonna be a great card. Shame you have to pay for it. But we're gonna pay for it, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Everyone that's watching, massive pleasure. Make sure
smash the like, people. Subscribe to the channel. Luke's doing some great stuff,
man. Subscribe to here as well. I think I'm two subs away from 80. We'll try and get to 100 this year.
100. Let's go up to 100, guys.
100 subs. I promise I'll do more content. I promise. I'm so busy trying to balance my new job.
Yes.
So we're going to get more content, more fight content coming. Make sure subscribe to Sanderson Show. Subscribe to Coppish as well. They're on the road to 30K. Am I correct? 30K.
Indeed. Yep, 30K.
Hey, we're filming this after the Liverpool City game. If you haven't watched it, watch the match reaction. Watch the match reaction.
Pure vibes. That's
what I'm gonna do now, because I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna be chilling tonight.
We are indeed. We're eating well tonight, Lou. We're eating well tonight.
We're eating well. Everyone that's watching, a massive thank you, and I will see you all on the weekend.
Let's go.
Let's go.